Hi everyone. In today's video, I am going to discuss the June 2024 attempt paper of Corporate Accounting and Financial Management. Okay. So we are going to just take an overview of what was asked in the paper. According to me, this paper I can say that it was of a moderate level. It was not that very easy, but it was not very difficult that you cannot clear with the marks as required. Okay. So let us just understand what were the questions which were asked and from where they had put those questions. Now, if you see part 1, which this is about corporate accounts. Okay. The first question, they have given you a really very lengthy question. But these type of questions, when they are giving you a lot of details about something, you should first try to see what is the question actually asked, and then come again and read the entire history which they have given about a given business. Now here I will just tell you that they are talking about an entrepreneur who is running a bakery business, okay, since a long time, and now he is looking at increasing the sales by online business. There are lot of other informations which they have provided, like what was their opening inventory, opening stock, what was their closing stock, opening, closing, what was their revenue, credit sales which was 80% of their total sales, how much purchases have they made, wages, carriage inwards, receivables. This is opening, closing receivables from the debtors, total assets, administrative expenses, depreciation, financial charges, the total debt of the organization. They have 4 lakhs in debt and total equity is 20 lakhs and 30% is the tax rate. Okay, now they have appointed one financial expert, okay, so who has a certain wherein she is given an answer of improving the cash flow statements, etc. Now what are they going to, what is the basic question, we have to come to that point. So see this. Now Prabhu mentions the increase in demand and possible need to increase the capacity. If the demand is increasing, he needs to increase the capacity. So either he will outsource it to the third party or expand the production capacity by having an additional capital expenditure. Okay. So there are concerns around the manufacturing quality if production is outsourced. The cost of additional capacity means if we want to do it in-house and increase the capacity, they need a capex. That means the capital, additional capital of 5 lakhs, from where they are taking 80%, they are going to take it in form of debt with 10% rate of interest, and remaining they are going to take it in form of equity. Financial projections are given below. Again, for the current, the revenues were 25 lakhs. If they are going ahead with this new capital investment, then it will increase by 30%. Total assets will now become 26 lakhs instead of 24. Administrative expenses, it will be 2 lakh 75. Depreciation, financial charges. We have to remember that financial charges will be of both. Why? Because first also we had certain debentures and now we have taken 80% from 5 lakhs. Okay, which is also going to be a debt on which we have to give 10%. Total equity, there is new equity amount of 20. Total equity is 20 lakhs. We have to also find the new equity amount over here, which we, out of 5 lakhs, 80% is already done by debt. So basically only 20%, that is 1 lakh, will be the new equity, additional equity which we are going to have. And we have the tax liability which is of 30%. It remains the same when there is an increase in capacity also. So if you see, the questions are very easy. They are asking you to find the inventory turnover ratio, average collection period, and once you have found these two ratios, they are asking you to interpret the ratios. We have already done these ratios. Inventory turnover ratio, you need the cost of goods sold, the average stock, and average collection period, you need the credit sales along with the average debtors or average bills receivable, and everything is given in the sum. All the inputs are given in your problem over here. You see, Average receivables opening plus closing divide by 2. For inventory also I will do the same thing. It will be opening plus closing divide by 2. Here inventory also they have given us. Okay. Next question, they are asking you calculate return on equity by using the DuPont analysis. Okay, rate of return on the capital employed. Comment on how return on equity can be improved. Even this is a formula based, and you have to just comment whether the return of equity can be improved by which methods. And lastly, they have asked you to prepare an estimated profit and loss account for the year ended 23-24. What will be the owner's capital as on 31st March 2024. So owner's capital will be 1 lakh plus this total equity which was already there of 20 lakhs. Okay. So 20 lakhs was the equity plus there will be 1 lakh rupees. That will be the owner's amount of capital which will be there in the new structure. Okay, capital structure. So 5 marks each was given to this particular problem. I understand the question was very big, but it was manageable. Even if you would have solved with the help of the formulas which we have done, you would have got good marks. And prepare an estimated profit and loss account. You have to do it from here only. Everything they have given in profit and loss account, we put the revenue expenses with the revenue income on the left hand side. We have to put all the revenue expenses. You have to just manage this increase which is there. Okay, so that with the help of that you have to prepare the P&L statement basically. Then the next question number question number 2A. So now from the following information which they have given of X Limited, they have given you a balance sheet which is in fill in the blanks form. So they have not given you equity share capital. Okay, they have given you divided in the face value of 10, preference share capital, the face value is 1000. They have given you certain information like reserves and surplus is given to you, P&L is given, non-current liabilities, long-term borrowings they have not given. Then current liabilities, all the amounts are given, borrowings, trade payables, short terms, outstanding expenses. Okay, and in non-current assets, they have given you about property, plant and equipment over here. Then they have given you intangible and capital work in progress. There is also one more non-current asset here. Okay, so basically this will be your investment, non-current investment only. Then current assets, you have inventories, trade receivables, cash and cash equivalent. Now we have to complete the balance sheet, the above balance sheet with the information given. So the investments are in fixed income securities. Okay, so we have done an investment which will be a non-current asset here which is missing and have an interest rate of 8%. The payout of interest they have given. So the amount will be 100 lakhs divided by 8%. You will get the amount over here. It will be 100 because this is the interest payout they have given. Divide by 8%. So you will get the amount. How you find the rate of interest? Rate of interest, if I'll tell you, you will take the amount divided by the value, no? Similarly, here they have given you the percentage and they have given you the interest payout. So you will find the amount. Then inventory turnover ratio is given. COGS is also given. And open and closing both is same. In balance sheet, we always put a closing inventory. So we will assume opening and closing average inventory to be X. Okay, so since it is the same, you will divide that by 2 and the closing inventory here it will come. Equity share capital of rupees 10 each is twice of the preference share capital. So if I am assuming preference share capital as X, equity share capital will become 2X. For that you will have to first fill the balance sheet. You have to try to see that what all can be filled easily. Then with the help of the total, the other balances can be filled. Okay, so if I want, I will first fill the long-term liabilities. See, long-term liabilities interest payout amount is given, interest payout amount and interest rate is given. So it will be 1000 lakhs divided by 10%. 10,000 lakhs will be the debentures in long-term borrowing, I mean to say. So when you will put this long-term borrowings here. So basically you have got all the amounts. You have got your total of reserves and surplus. You have got the total of your current liabilities. You have got the total of the non-current liabilities. So basically you are just left with this. So you will get the balance since you have the total. Correct? So once you get the total, you are supposed to find the preference shares and the equity shares. So you have to calculate one side each. Total of assets will be total of liabilities. The moment you will complete the total of assets, same thing you will put in the total of liabilities and you will be able to find the equity and preference. So this is also a part of your ratio analysis. It's a kind of entire thing based on the ratio analysis. So they have given a lot of importance on ratio analysis and interpretation of that. Even the first question was that, even the second question second A is based on that. Now moving to question number 2B, very easy. They have given you a kind of an income statement and they have given you the tax rate. They are asking you to just find the net profit margin. Net profit margin is nothing but net profit upon sales into 100. Okay, so you are supposed to find the net profit with the help of all these inputs which they have given you. So you will get revenue from operations, selling expenses. You are supposed to prepare the income statement. Only then you will be able to get the net profit. Okay, so net profit margin can easily be calculated with the help of the revenue. Sales and revenue, one and the same thing. Okay, if I'm into service, I'll have revenues, right? So you're supposed to find the net profit, divide that by the revenue, you will get the percentage. Next question they have asked is, M2 Limited is a company and has an ESOP program for the following ESOP related exercises. So you have 1st of April, they have given 10,000 options that were granted at 400 rupees each when market price was 1,000. Vesting period was for 3 years. Maximum exercise period was 1 year. Then on 31st of March 2021, 2,000 unvested options had lapsed out of 10,000. 7,000 options were exercised on that day, and then next year 31st of March 2022, 1,000 options had lapsed. Assume the face value of the share is 10 rupees and companies following April and March year end, you are required to pass the necessary journal entries. This was the sum which I have already done with you all in case of ESOPs, which is a part of your issue of shares. Okay, so this was solved. You are supposed to find the exercise price, take the amount, write it off from the P&L and solve the sum with the journal entry form. Okay, now next question was of the underwriters. We have already done this. In underwriters, now there are 3 underwriters for this 1 lakh shares which are to be issued, and they have given the number of shares underwritten by each underwriter along with their firm underwriting, okay, marked applications, and they have also given us the subscriptions excluding firm underwriting and including marked applications were 50,000. So basically we will be able to find the unmarked applications that we will divide in the gross liability ratio I had shown you all, right? So from the total number of shares, 1 lakh shares, you will first divide by their gross liability ratio which they have taken up. From there you will remove marked applications, then unmarked applications. So you will be coming to the net underwriters liability. Here they have told you consider the firm underwriting also treated as unmarked applications. So when you find the total unmarked applications, you will take this firm underwriting also and divide that also with the gross liability ratio. Okay, so we have done this type of sums both the ways. When firm underwritten is treated as marked applications and when firm underwritten is treated as unmarked applications. We have done both the manners. Okay, both the methods we have done. So this was also 5 marks, very easy. This 5 marks you all cannot go wrong. It was so simple. This 5 also, the ESOP sum was very simple. Net profit 3 marks. You have to just find the net profit with the help of the income statement, P&L statement. Okay. Then the ESOP sum was 5 marks and this another 5 marks. So your this, even if you say that your previous two sums were difficult, this 3 sums, 13 marks was a sure shot, you have to get it. Okay. Next is an interesting sum. They have spoken about the holding and subsidiary. They have given you a very basic balance sheet. They have given you reserves. They have given you profit and loss account, assets. They have given you sundry assets and equity. They have already given you the amount of shares that the holding company is having in the subsidiary company. Okay. All the information is given. They have also told you S Limited has reserves of rupees 6 lakhs when H Limited acquired shares. But P&L balance was fully earned after the purchase. So anything which is post will go in the P&L. It will not affect the cost of control. Anything which is pre is going to affect the cost of control for the holding company. Right? And there were also some reserves, opening reserves. Right? S Limited decided to issue bonus shares out of the post acquisition profits. Now when S Limited is issuing bonus, there is post acquisition profits they have mentioned in the ratio of 1 share for every 5 shares held. This also we have done in our sum. Calculate the cost of control before the bonus and calculate it after the bonus of the shares. They have given you post acquisition profits. Okay, so post acquisition profits means it is a post dividend. From the profits from which the dividend is given is important to know the date of whether it is pre-dividend or post-dividend. Right? What will be the journal entries passed in the books of S and H Limited when the issue of bonus has taken place by S Limited? So this is like they have clubbed bonus along with the consolidation. So this is for 5 marks. Okay, only two journal entries. What will S Limited pass the journal entry as for bonus shares? Okay, and H Limited is going to get the bonus shares. Alright. So now the summarized information. Now next question I am moving to. Summarized information of CBA Limited is given as on 1st of April 2022 and then on 31st of March 2023. Okay. So there are two balance sheets. Equity share capital, share premium, general reserve, profit and loss, debentures, sundry creditors, provision for tax, proposed dividend. Okay. Land and building, plant, furniture, stock, sundry debtors, bank. Depreciation during the year for land and building, for plant and machinery and for furniture. Debentures were issued on 1st of October 2022. Prepare the cash flow statement for the financial year 31st of March 2023. So easy, you had to just see the increase and decrease, okay, which is been there in the cash flow statement. So for cash flow statement from the operating activity, cash flow statement from the investment activity and cash flow statement from the financial activities. For operating activities, you have to find, so therefore it was an indirect method. Okay, so this was very easy. 5 marks. Alright. Now, okay. Now question number 4A. They have given you all the details about preference shares. Okay, Rainbow Limited has issued 10,000 12% redeemable preference shares. Face value is 1,000. Shares are to be redeemed at a premium of 20%. This redemption, you are going to raise share capital in the form of equity share capital. So number of equity shares which you will raise is 50,000 shares of rupees 10 each at rupees 240 per share. Okay. So the basically there is a lot of high amount of premium which is involved. On share capital you are going to get only 5 lakh rupees. 50,000 into 10 rupees. you are going to get only 5 lakh on the face value, and the number of preference shares you are supposed to redeem is 10,000 into face value is 1,000 each. Okay, so the balance you are going to take it from the reserves, assuming there is reserves. The whole amount is received and paid towards the redemption. Pass the necessary journal entries. Okay, so even this was a very easy sum. The balance to be taken from the DP transferred to CRR. Don't use the securities premium for preference shares. Next question they have given you for the debentures redemption. Okay, an unlisted company other than the AIFI Bank, NBFC and HFC has debentures on its balance sheet as on 31st March 2022. 10% debentures. Okay, number is 25 lakhs. So here it is 2 crore 50 lakh debenture redemption reserve. Unencumbered investments in fixed deposits. Okay, where you are getting 7% interest, 37 lakh 50,000, and they have given you the bank balance. This is that short question. You remember I had also told you all that how to prepare. Please prepare for these short ledger type questions in case of debentures. That is what they have asked. They have asked you to prepare these 3 ledgers: debenture account, debenture interest account, and debenture redemption reserve account. Okay, so basically the interest on debentures were paid, okay, is already paid until 31st March 2022, and debentures were repaid on 30th of June 2022 at 10% premium. Okay, the investments were realized at par. So for from 31st March, that is 1st April to 30th of June, again interest will come. So you're supposed to journalize that transaction and then pass it in the ledger. So you can directly make the ledger, or you can also quickly do the rough journal entries and then post them in the ledger. The entire investments were realized at par means they were sold. So you got that money in order to redeem the debentures. Okay, and then extract of the bank account also you have to make. Next question is Xerox Limited issued 60,000 shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of 2 per share. The amount on share was payable application, allotment including premium, first call, final call. Applications were received for 1 lakh shares. This is oversubscription. Shares were allotted on pro rata basis. There is no refund, means they have accepted all 1,000. So 40,000 shares they have adjusted. No, so there is a pro rata which has happened here. Walter, who was allotted 1,000 shares, did not pay him the allotment money, and subsequent calls and Walter's shares were forfeited. You had to just pass the journal entries. So application stage, allotment, first call and final call, and then the forfeiture journal entry. They have not told you anything about the reissue. Okay, but just that the number of shares allotted to Walter was 1,000. So you have to find the number of shares he had applied for with the help of the pro rata ratio. Next, question number 4 in option was completely theory. So they were asking you about defining small and medium companies. Okay, describe applicability of accounting standards. It is there in your accounting standards chapter. Define what is a leverage, what is a trading on equity. Okay, mention the records of accounts to be maintained by the company. Can a company maintain the accounts in electronic form? So this was from your chapter number 2, corporate accounting, introduction to corporate accounts. Okay, then part 2 was your financial management. Okay, part 2 is your financial management. Now in that they are asking you, this is the first question in which they have asked you entirely about cost of capital, and it is a very simple sum. Okay, it is lot of inputs are there in the question, but it is a simple sum. They have given you that Magma Limited is a manufacturing industry in which it has mix of equity and debt in their business, and they are planning to go for an expansion, etc. Now particulars they have given that they have debentures which has 12%. That was the first issue. Then 13% debentures also they have. They have preference shares where the percentage is 10. Equity shares, retained earnings. Then they have given you the details of their market price. So equity share is sold at 25 rupees, and they declare a dividend of 3 per share at the end of the current financial year. The company has a practice of paying all earnings in form of dividend. Then 100 rupees per debenture, first issue, redeemable at 2%, flotation cost, redeemable at par, has 2% flotation cost and 8 years of maturity. So we are going to use the KD formula for the one which we had used, okay, for where the life of the debenture is given, and the market price here is 120. Similarly, for the second issue of debentures, redemption period is 5 years. It is redeemable after 5 years and are currently selling at 90 rupees per debenture. Okay. So whenever there is a flotation cost etc. from the price, you are supposed to remove that particular cost. So you will find KD in both the cases, you will find KE. So it was an easy sum. Alright. And fourth, 10 rupees 100 preference share redeemable at par and has 3% flotation cost and 10 years of maturity. The market price per preference share is rupees 108. Okay. The tax rate applicable is 30%. We will need this in order to find the 1 minus tax rate which we do for KD. Shareholders tax liability can be assumed at 25%. Capital gain taxes at 20%. The CFO of the company is keen at understanding the cost of capital. You are supposed to find the weighted average cost of capital with the help of book value first and then the market value weights. Further, also the company wants to know the market price of the equity shares of the end of the current year using the M&M approach, Modigliani-Miller approach, which we have done. Now basically what I understand that you all must have got confused with this. But it has nothing to do with our sum. They have given us to confuse it. However, we will see what ICSE has to issue at the time when they give the guideline answers. But even for Modigliani-Miller approach, the theory itself ignores the tax and the growth rate. Okay, which capital gain we put in the growth. And tax rate in the hands of shareholders, it has to be ignored. So here also in the second question also you cannot use it. Correct? So this was your first question. And then in that third one, they were asking you that the sales, variable cost and fixed cost was giving, including of interest. Okay, excluding of interest. We were supposed to find the operating leverage, the financial leverage and the combined leverage. Okay, so excluding of interest means what? You will obviously come to know with the help of the interest amount over here. Assuming the company has a sales minus variable cost, you'll get contribution minus fixed cost of rupees 5 lakhs. You'll be able to find the operating leverage, then minus interest, NPBIT, okay, NPBT, and then you will be able to find the combined leverage. Okay, so interest amount you can get it from here, from whatever is the 12% and 13% is there. No, 12% on this first issue and 13% on the second issue. So you're supposed to take the inputs from there. So this was totally of 20 marks. So this is like, it was, you could have scored it here. Next is, investor is considering a purchase of new investment of rupees 15 lakhs. The investor has got two options, option M and N. Okay, and they have given you the cash flows for 5 years. Then they are telling you that the investor has a target return of 12%. Risk premium rates are 3% for M and 7% for option N. Now, as per our CAPM model, when we calculate, okay, the rate of equity, we risk-free rate of return plus beta into RM minus RF. This is what we do. They have given you this RF and they have also given you this entire risk premium for both. So in case of M, it is going to become 15%. So you will use this discounted factors. And for N, it is going to become 19%. You will use this discounted factors already given to you. You will find the discounted cash flow with the help of the outflow which is there, and the total inflow you are going to get, cumulative discounted cash inflow, the net present value of whichever is higher, you are going to select that particular option. It was for 5 marks and it was really easy. They had already given you the discounted amount also. Okay. Next is they have given you earning per share, dividend per share, cost of the capital is 12%, IRR is 16%. We were supposed to find the market price per share using Gordon's formula and Walter's formula. Okay, so this was from your dividend policy. You can easily find the price of the share. Then there are two components, A and B. Normal usage is 33,000 units. Maximum usage is 4,500. Minimum usage is 1,500 units. Reorder quantity for A 20,000 units. B is 40,000. Reorder period they have given to you. You have to calculate the reorder level. That is your at what day, you know, the level with the entire sum wherein you'll find the EOQ. Then your ordering cost, maximum level, minimum level, and average inventory. So this was a little it was a little new type. It was not previously maybe asked, but it was not that very difficult also. If you would have solved it properly, you would have got it. Okay, so even if in case you have missed into this, there is no problem. Question number D, again this was new. Okay, they had asked you regarding the RSI, that is your the relative strength index with the help of the data. So basically you were supposed to find the average gain and average loss. With the help of average gain and average loss, you get the relative strength ratio, and then only you can find the relative strength index. So there is 1-2 questions which were very, very new. If they were asked for you can say 10 marks of FM was new, but then you had an option of attempting the theory. Okay, so in the theory they were asking you what is the concept of negative working capital. Okay, as a sign of strong bargaining power, you had to comment with an example. Systematic risk, price rate of the change and advance decline ratio, economic value added, market value added, under what conditions would EVA increase. These were all the direct questions which were asked for FM. So even if you would have attempted the theory of question number 6A, and you would have left question number 6, easily out of 5 marks, that was 20 marks over there, you could have at least scored 12 to 15 marks over there. Okay, so this was the entire review which I have given of the paper. So do not worry, otherwise whatever you have done, you have solved. Okay, at least the step marks, if you have put all your formulas properly in place, I am sure it is going to give good results. Okay, so stay connected with us, and once we will also be solving this paper completely in detail in some time from now. Okay, so thank you everyone. Bye bye, have a great day.